Jayson Tatum has officially been diagnosed to have torn his Achilles. He already underwent successful surgery to repair that torn Achilles. This is good news for Jaylen Brown. Let me explain why, right? So the whole time that Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum have been teammates together, there's always been this debate of who's better, Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown, right? For a majority of them playing together, I feel like for the most part, most people have thought and still think that Jayson Tatum is a better player than Jaylen Brown. Now, Jaylen Brown proved last year when he won Conference Finals MVP and the regular NBA Finals MVP, he showed the world that he can be the best player on the team, right? That was the first year that people looked and said, damn, maybe Jaylen Brown is better than Jayson Tatum, right? But when you look at this season, it's obvious that Jayson Tatum had a better season than Jaylen Brown this year. Jayson Tatum played with a chip on his shoulder. He was in the Olympics. Steve Kerr benched him for a majority of the time that he was playing for the Olympics, which didn't make any sense. And Jayson Tatum was, he wasn't playing no games this year. Even in this game where he tore his Achilles, the guy had 42 points. Like, he was putting the team on his back. And I think if he would have never torn his Achilles, I feel like Boston would have won this game. It was a much-needed win for Boston. Now they're going back to Boston down 3-1. And even right now, look, man, Jaylen Brown, we've seen Jaylen Brown like tweets on Twitter, where people are saying that he's the best player on the Celtics and, he's underestimated and, people don't really see his value. Jaylen Brown, you talk a lot of shit, bro. I've been watching your press conferences this whole playoffs. I watched what you were saying when you were playing the Orlando Magic. I watched what you've been saying in this series with the New York Knicks. Jaylen Brown talks a lot of shit. He just said like 2 or 3 days ago, he was talking about how he feels like no player can get to the rim like he can. I disagree. I think Giannis can get to the rim better than Jaylen Brown. I think Zion Williamson can get to the rim better than Jaylen Brown. I think LeBron James at 40 years old, when he's healthy and when he's feeling good, can get to the rim better than Jaylen Brown. I think Ja Morant can get to the rim better than Jaylen Brown. I can go on and on. I think Anthony Edwards can get to the rim better than Jaylen Brown. I've also seen Jaylen Brown say in interviews that he can be whatever he wants to be for his team. He can be the number one option. He can be the number two option, right? He pretty much says that he does whatever he needs to do to get his team to win, right? That's what he said in an interview with Wallow and Gilly, right? So Jaylen Brown, your team is down 3-1, right? Jayson Tatum is going to be out for the whole season next year, right? So you have a whole season